Wow, I've got a lot of comments to go through. Well, hey, I guess that means people are liking the video at least. It just stinks. I wish I could make everybody a tree. What in the world? I messed up, and I'm not one to try a clickbaity title or to make you wait to the very end to tell you why. So let me tell you how I messed up and how I'm gonna fix it. As some of you may know, I started to make these custom trees for people who commented on my full-length videos on YouTube. So every week I post a video and I pick a comment and I make a custom tree. Well, I made a short kind of talking about this, and to be honest, I don't think I was super clear. There seemed to be a misunderstanding that anybody that commented on any kind of video I put out would get a tree. So with that said, I got almost 200 comments between my Instagram reel, my YouTube short, and my TikTok, all of people, not everyone expecting to get a tree, but kind of under the assumption that they would. I think, to be exact, at the time of recording this intro clip, we're at 161 comments. That's a lot of comments for a small creator like me, and I truly do appreciate every single one. So let me talk about how we're gonna fix that. I never meant to mislead anybody, and I never would mean to do that. And I'm sure people would think, whatever, I misunderstood him, or he just wasn't clear and they'll move on. But you know what? I'm going to make this right. I decided for this week's episode that just in this special circumstance, I'll be very more clear from now on, but I'm going to make a tree for every person that commented to show my appreciation for their engagement. And honestly, a lot of comments were so nice. So I figured, let's spread the love. I didn't have, or nor do I have, any plans for this area here. With the cliffside there, it seems kind of odd to make a building blocking it. So I figured, why don't we have a forest? A forest of custom trees, mostly about this size, some a little bigger, maybe some a little smaller. And we'll add a nameplate and the username of every single person that commented on those videos in the past week. My token of appreciation to you. Now, that's going to be a grind. So instead of showing me make every single tree, we're just going to have a casual episode where I'm going to answer some of your questions. I put out a call on all my socials last week to gather some questions for a Q&A, and I'm going to run through them as we build these trees. But before we do any tree making, you'll notice these signs all have glow ink on them to make the name stand out. We're going to keep that up. But to get all that glow ink, I could go around and just find a bunch of glow squids, but I found a pretty easy farm. So we're going to start by making a glow squid farm. I already have all the materials for it. We're going to go find a spot for it. Unfortunately, we're over a deep dark here, and I was reading that it wouldn't work over a deep dark. So we will have to go somewhere else, but I'm going to make it real quick. I'll start a time lapse and we will go ahead and answer some questions. So into the nether I go. We're going to pick out a nice spot and I'll catch you guys there. This was a very quick build, so I don't want to waste a question right now, but what I will plug is I am launching a community Discord. So if you want to join that, the link is in the description. We'll be sharing updates about videos, talking about future streams. I'll also have a section with all of the schematics from all the builds you see in this series. Just another place to build community. So if it's something you'd be interested in, check out the link in the description and I'll see you there. I'm feeling good with the success of that glow squid farm, and that was super easy to build. I believe the design was by Uforced. I'll put the link in the description as always. We are going to do some resource gathering because we have even more trees to build than the last clip I recorded. I think we're up to almost 180 now. So we have a lot of collecting to do. And with that said, let's jump into a little montage. We've got a lot of wood to grab and even more sticks. So let's get started with the Q&A. Sarah over on TikTok says, I'm new here. How did you come up with your name? Honestly, it's kind of just a boring story. I really like salami. It's like my favorite sandwich meat. Uh, I like it so much that my brother would sometimes call me Salami. So that is where the gamer tag came from. And that's how we ended up here. All right, truth be told, I forgot to record that clip before we started collecting the resources. So, yes, everything looks exactly the same, but let's take a look at what we actually did collect here. So we've got a bunch of leaves and things for decoration, a lot of stripped spruce for our hanging signs, and a lot of wood to turn into fence posts. We're going to do the oak fence like we have out here. And then we're also going to add a little bit of spruce and a little bit of dark oak trees as well. We'll try to even them out. But this should be enough. That'll do it. Ooh, almost exactly what we needed. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a pain. Totally forgot about that. Okay, that should be enough. When I was adding all of these trees from my original commenters, I totally missed somebody and I feel so bad. I am going to put them on the big oak here. That is Crazy Cardinal. Crazy Cardinal 15. Done. Grab some glow ink for that. Voila. There you go. Special tree just for you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. So let's get on with building some trees and doing that Q&A. Sage over on TikTok says, how did you get into making content? I love to make my own, but don't know where to start. I started making content in 2013. I was in my last year of high school and I had enough credits to graduate. So I got out early. I would go home. I would sit in my basement all by myself and I would start recording Minecraft videos. Something that I try to live by is the quote, if you wait for the perfect time, it'll never come. I find that for me, I just had to sit down and hit record. I took 10 years away from content creation and I knew I wanted to come back. I prepped for months and I just couldn't start until one day I sat back down at my computer, I hit record, and I just started talking. So that's my best advice. Find what you're passionate about, find that game, that topic, whatever it may be, sit down, hit record, and see what happens. From YouTube, Jimmy Pork asked, how long do my videos take? It really depends, video to video. This one took a while. I would say I probably worked on it for probably about 12 hours. There was a lot of building, a lot of editing, of course, doing this voiceover counts as well, organizing all of the commenter names. But I would say typically anywhere between 8 to 14 hours in a week. Sticking to the YouTube questions, a panic spider asks, what do you use to get the clips of yourself on your builds and walking around? I use the flashback mod. I know replay mod is also another option, but I found that the tools within flashback mod align better with what I have in mind and the type of content I like to create. And honestly, it's very intuitive. I think anybody can pick it up and use it. There's a lot of good tutorials out there as well. Heading over to Instagram for this next question from Lucas. Says, what is keeping you motivated to play Minecraft and keep up with this channel? Love your content, by the way. It's just so relaxing. Well, thank you, Lucas. I really appreciate that. But what is keeping me motivated to play Minecraft and the channel? I love to create things, whether that's content or things in the physical world. Creating is my passion. The motivation to keep playing Minecraft is fueled by that creativity and that need for it. Minecraft is my favorite game of all time. I play all sorts of games and I love all sorts of games, but Minecraft is the one I always come back to because it allows me to express that creativity, has helped me stay motivated to continue playing. The channel The motivation comes from two places. One is, again, that creativity piece. It's just another thing to create and share with people. But two, I get so much motivation from comments like yours. To see that people are enjoying what I'm creating fuels me like no other. It's so rewarding to know that somebody's taking time out of their day to sit down and watch my video, whether it be 20 minutes or if they're putting on a short for 30 seconds. If they got something out of it, that's enough for me. Sticking to the topic of motivation, over on TikTok, Jolker, sorry for the name. Do you lose motivation easily? I lose motivation easily when I'm not passionate about what I'm doing. When I am passionate about it and I can find reason in it, it's very difficult for me to lose motivation. But there's times when I'm doing something that I know I should do, but I don't necessarily want to. And that is when I struggle with maintaining motivation. Though I find sort of what I said earlier, when I take the second and just do it, I don't think about how I'm going to do it or if I want to do it. But trust me, it is easier said than done. I had a lot of questions asking me what my favorite this or that is. So I figured we could group those all together in this segment here. And let's start with probably the most broad question of that group is outside of Minecraft, and this is from Lamageddon over on Instagram. Outside of Minecraft, what are some of your other interests? This question brings up one of my greatest weaknesses, but I guess it could be seen as a strength as well. I have a lot of interests. I love a lot of things. Video games in general are a big interest of mine. I am huge into woodworking. It's one of my main hobbies outside of content creation. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But that is a huge source of inspiration for me. I enjoy being out in nature, seeing the natural beauty that the world has to offer. I like to stay active. I like to sit on my couch and watch YouTube when I'm tired. I'm also really big into music. I play guitar, I collect records. Music to me is a universal language, and however I can consume it, I do so. I'm here to enjoy life, and those are things that bring me enjoyment. So, where I can find time for them, I do. You never know where your hobbies will take you. Sticking on the topic of favorites, it's the Nars from TikTok asks, do you have a favorite dinosaur? I do. I think my favorite dinosaur is the Spinosaurus. To me, it's cooler than like a T Rex. I don't think it gets all the love it should. And back in the day, I used to play a lot of Ark Survival Evolved, which is like a dinosaur survival game. And I loved when we could capture a Spinosaurus in that game and tame it. So, yeah, Spinosaurus. And kind of in a similar vein, still on TikTok, Fane's Firstborn asked what my favorite D&D 5th edition dragon is. I'm going to go with the Black Dragon. I love the setting of like the swamp. I love the acid breath. There's something about them that sets them apart from all the other dragons to me. And the main reason that I would pick them as my favorite is their design. Just kind of that decrepit, almost necrotic look. Dragons in Dungeons and Dragons are already terrifying creatures and very powerful creatures, but there's something about the design of the black dragon that I think just sets them apart from the rest. Anon over on TikTok asks, what's your favorite thing you've ever built? It's a great question. If I had to narrow it down, I could confidently say that my favorite thing I've ever built definitely exists in this world here that you're watching. I really started to test my ability to build when I started making these videos. I knew that if I wanted to be successful on YouTube that I had to get better, and I think I have gotten a lot better. Now, my favorite thing, I have two answers. Looks wise, I love the flying ship. Um, I think it's so cool. And to have those fans that actually move, yeah, it just sets it apart from any build I've ever done. Functionality wise, the Druid's Grove, it is a pretty simple look, but the way that it is disguised as an ancient ruin, but it's actually an XP farm. Looks wise, the flying ship above the mountain, functionality, the Druid's Grove. Over on Instagram, a similar question, but a little bit more specific. Mr. Fox Bingo asked, what's your favorite simple build ever? They said, I'd love to take inspiration from you as I think your Minecraft builds look amazing. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you think so. It's hard for me to classify what is a simple build and what isn't. But I'll go on like a scale of, big to small. So for a smaller build, which I guess in turn would be a bit more simple, I think the wood shop is one of my favorites. It was a practice of different roof lines and a different kind of interior. It took me away from my typical triangle roof and brought me into something different. So I think the wood shop is a great simple build to start with. The last question in the category of things that I like or favorite things comes from Instagram from Silas. They say, what's your face like? Also, do you like anime? Well, speaking of my face, I have been streaming a little bit, practicing streaming over on TikTok, and we are heading to YouTube either later this week or next week. So I will make a post, and my streaming setup is a little different than my recording setup. I do have a face cam to help interact with the chat. So I'd love to see you guys there. I've had a great time streaming over on TikTok, and I'm excited to bring it to my YouTube audience because you all are my main audience. Do I like anime? I do like anime. I love a lot of animes. On my desk here, I've got a Gojo statue from JJK. I've got a few Frieren statues. I've got All Might from My Hero. I really like Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist, Soul Eater. Happy to take any recommendations anybody has. Throw them in the comments. The next few questions all have to do with inspiration. So we'll group them up. I'll read them all right now, though, because they're all very similar, and I'll probably answer them all in a similar way. So from Lolo over on YouTube, your videos feature amazing ideas, especially for the builds. Where do you get the inspiration, and how do you come up with ideas for your series? Clammy on TikTok says, what's your inspiration aesthetically and artistically in Minecraft and why? I'd love to hear your artistic journey. And then on Instagram, Apotheprary says, I'm curious where you get build inspiration from. Sometimes I'm just standing around in game, my mind goes blank. And where do you get the best inspiration for small builds? I find myself always leaning towards the same styles, and I like to branch out a bit. Well, thank you all for your comments. I really appreciate the kind words. My inspiration for my builds specifically comes from my love and experience of playing and DMing Dungeons and Dragons. I've been a DM, which is a dungeon master, for over 6 years. And basically, what that means is I'm the one writing the story. My players really direct it, but I'm coming up with like the story hits and things like that. So I've created a lot of things just in my imagination over the past 6 years. A lot of my inspiration is coming from those things that I just wanted to visualize. So I bring them from those descriptors that I wrote out to describe them to my players. I read that and I think, how could I make this in Minecraft? So, like the Dragon's Trove is a great example. That was a tavern in one of our big campaigns. The flying ship was modeled after a flying ship that my players have access to. So that's where a lot of my inspiration for the builds comes from. and just fantasy materials in general, whether that be Dungeons and Dragons or different types of books or movies. For small builds, pick like what genre you want to branch out to and just image search. Let's say steampunk factory or ancient Roman house. Look at that and try to visualize how you would create that in Minecraft. A lot of time I'll have an image open on one screen and a creative world in the other, and I will just work on it until I come up with something that looks relatively close. And in doing so, you learn different techniques because you're just trying to recreate something that was drawn with pen and paper with these blocks. So I found that that has really helped advance my skills and really help generate more inspiration. Now, for my video ideas for this series, honestly, it's a lot of shower thoughts. It's a lot of just sitting in silence and reflecting. I am not an idea machine. It does take a lot of time for me to think about what I want to do next. But what I found to be helpful is I think about what I would want to watch and I try to connect those dots with my skill set, with the tone of the series. And so far, I've been pretty proud with what I've been able to come up with. But I'm always looking for those moments of silence where I can just sit with my thoughts, run through them, think of things to grab inspiration from, and connect them to my videos. My last question comes from YouTube from GDX. They say, I guess my only question, one that I've asked everyone in a Q&A is, are you mentally healthy? It's a very loaded question, and I want to answer it honestly. I am mentally healthy enough. Am I perfect? No, absolutely not. But there's been times in my life where it's been worse. There's been times in my life where it's been better. But at this moment, I'd say yes, I am mentally healthy. The mental health stigma has really come a long way recently, but it still remains and it's still a struggle for a lot of people. As a man who has all of these different hobbies and who's in all these different spaces, I have no shame in saying that I've been in therapy for a few years, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. It really has helped me organize my thoughts. It's helped me understand who I am, and it's really helped with that mental wellness. So I'd always recommend it to anybody, even if you don't think you have anything to talk about. Sometimes I just yap, but it's been great, and I appreciate that question. I think it's a very thoughtful question, so thank you for asking it. That wraps up our Q&A. Thank you everybody who participated in that, and I hope you learned something new about me. I hope it was interesting. Let's wrap this video up. Well, that's it. That is a wrap on our commenter forest. As we wrap up the video, let's just take a walk through, passing by everybody, looking at some of the little details we added in. What a beautiful thing to add to this world. You'll see some of the trees are a little different. We had a few special requests and I honored those just this one time. Making this was really therapeutic. It was also very humbling. You see a number and you don't really comprehend how many people that truly is. But doing this, making each of these trees, putting your names on each of these signs, really made me take a step back and think, wow, this many people took the time to interact with my content. And not only that, out of all the comments I received, at least 80% of them had something nice to say. Some people just said, hey, hi, let me get a tree. But we had a lot of people just say that some of the nicest compliments. And it really means a lot. It makes it a lot easier to make these videos. So with that said, we do have one more tree to make. We have not picked a commenter from episode 15. So I'm going to do that right now. We'll get that tree made and we'll close this one out. And our last tree goes to Kodanook. Thank you for commenting. Thank you to everybody that commented on that last video. We got a ton of engagement. I hope you all come back for this one. We are really starting to build up a great community here on the channel, and I couldn't be more proud of it. So welcome all. Hopefully I'll see you in the Discord. The link is in the description. It'll just be another great place to hang out and continue to build this community up. So let's grab a seat on the bench to finish out this episode. So one more time, I can't say it enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This forest really puts into perspective how many people are enjoying these videos, and I'm so excited to keep making them. So with that said, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time.